Coming to you from Orange County, California, this is the Jug Life Podcast with Max Ada and Chad Wesley Smith.
Hey everybody, what's up? Chad here. We're at Marin Heavy Athletics in Marin County, California. We're up in the Bay Area for a Team Juggernaut training camp with our weightlifters. So we came out today to visit Jasha Faye, the owner and head coach here at Marin Heavy Athletics. He and Max used to lift together back in the day. He was a very high-level lifter, particularly junior American record holder, and has served as a USAW board member for the last 4 years. So we're excited to talk to him about his experiences in the sport and where he sees things going in the future. Social media whore, Jasha Faye. We're joined today by a USAW board member and social media whore, Jasha Faye.
We're joined by USAW heartthrob, Jasha Faye.
That's right. I have a guy who every time you show up here, he's like, the YouTube guy.
I got recognized by a guy at some random diner in Seattle.
That's
he was
awesome.
obviously like Jack, dude, sitting at the table, and he's like, "Are you Max Ada?" I was like,
Is he jacked or did he have a pair body? Standard.
"No, he did. He was the first fan that was jacked,
Like legit jacked.
Yeah." And he's like, "Are you Max Ada?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I've watched all your stuff and I never do any of it, and look how good I look now."
How long have you guys known each other?
I've known of Jasha since the day I started lifting because we had the same coach. So Goff coached me when he moved to Montana, and probably the first day I was there, he was telling me stories about Jasha. But we probably met officially 2003, 4.
Whenever I came out there, you guys were training in a high school.
Yeah, Ennis High School.
Ennis High School. I don't remember what year it was, but it was
A long time ago.
15 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. It's been a
Were
while.
you
Huh?
living the squat everyday life as well?
Yes. When I was competing and training, yeah, twice a day, most days. Considerable amount of intensity and not a ton of volume.
Goff was probably a little different back then, right? I mean, he was, because I remember when I was with Goff, we didn't do anything but the lifts. And I know you guys would do, like, it seems to me whatever Goff did, it was, we're going for broke, no matter what it was, whether it's like dumbbell incline press or
100 max dumbbell incline.
Which we did.
Just whatever it was, we're going hard.
We were very much a petri dish for him.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you as much. He didn't know much about weightlifting when he started coaching. He just had a group of kids that were excited to do it. And then I came in on the second wave of Goff stars, and I'm not saying I'm a star, but I'm saying I was in the second group of athletes where.
But not saying it was not.
Yeah, no, I'm heavily implying that I was a star.
I'll say it, then take it back.
Yeah. But we were training 3 or 4 times a week on the American paradigm of the time when we went to the junior nationals and we met a kid who was a 56 kilo lifter and he outlifted almost everybody at the juniors, and we said, what the fuck are you doing? And he said, I train twice a day. I have this Bulgarian coach who incidentally I think was Angel Spasov.
Oh, okay.
Who had come and done a tour before anybody did a tour. And so we said, fuck it, let's try it. And we came to Steve and we said, we want to lift in the mornings. And he said, what, before you want to train more, twice a day? And okay, if you kids are willing to do it, I'm willing to do it with you. And it kind of took off from there. So the learning curve was together, and he kept telling us to do something and we kept going, okay. Like if you smash your head against this wall really hard, you know the routine.
Yeah. Eventually the wall will break.
Yeah, and you will not lift any more weight than you did before. No, but really everything he said, we tried, and everything he said was bond. We weren't. A real drawback today to the internet sensation is we didn't get anything muddied up by what we saw other people doing. We had to take what he was telling us at Bond, and like I said, we'd go to other meets and talk to other athletes, and we'd take what we could, but we were very much a petri dish in everything we tried. And it's one of those things where if we were doing ping pong or table, we would have been excelling because we had a positive leader and we had somebody that was willing to try new things. So that's what that was like.
It's funny because it seems like now, like you said,
let's go, Deb. Sorry.
That's all right.
We got the collars on this
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Nice.
Come on,
gonna
keep it
happen.
close.
Let's go.
Get up.
By the way,
Tough.
One of the
Jasha's lift was
athletes I
really
wanted to
tough.
speak to you about.
Yeah, very, very tough.
what were your best results as a lifter?
I snatched 165 kilos and I clean and jerk 200.
Wasn't that junior American record?
Yeah, no, the junior American record was 163, and I pretty much didn't progress after my teenage years, but I did 163. I broke Mark Henry's national record in 1993.
Sexual chocolate.
The mighty sexual chocolate, the one and only.
Not many people get to say that they broke one of Mark Henry's lifting records.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
very
true.
proud of that fact, and I say that as often as I say I broke the record. I throw it in that it was Mark's record. Hey, Mark.
Yeah,
and
that's important to mention
he
who
was
had it.
400 pounds when he
Yeah.
broke it.
Let's try and get him on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be good. You still talk to Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still text with him. Yeah, he's a man of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're training in Montana?
No,
No? You were
right
here,
here in Marin County. Steve was a San Francisco cop.
All right.
Who lived in Fairfax, which is a town about 10 minutes from here. And he would, before work in the city, he worked one of the hardest beats in San Francisco, in the Tenderloin, which is still a tough place to work. And he'd come to the gym at 5 in the morning, coach us, drop most of us off at school on his way to work, and then drive work in the loin all week, all day, and then come back and coach us in the afternoon. And he didn't accept a dime
Yeah.
for it.
Such a dedicated guy.
So after the time with Steve, you had a stint at the OTC as well?
Yeah, Steve was really great about pushing us out into the world. He's a lot of coaches you see, and I'm sure you guys have dealt with this directly. Some people don't want to let go of the talent that they have, or they don't want to admit that somebody else may or may not know more than them, but Steve was really great. He frequently had us at the Sports Palace with Jim Schmitz, anytime, any opportunity he had to get us exposed to other people. And then when the resident program at the Olympic Training Center opened up, he made a big push to get as many of his guys out there because he wanted the best for us. That's it.
Yeah.
There was no cronyism or weird, he wanted really the best for us. And he continues to. He calls me every week like I'm still competing, just to ask me how things are going. Again, yep.
Yeah.
And be ready, Deb. Just blast out of the hole. Get right up with it.
Yeah.
So then at the OTC, it was Dragomir?
Yeah, Dragomir. And, it was the first time I had a technical coach, to be honest. Steve is a very emotional coach. And you could see when you look at Steve's athletes, almost none of us look the same as the other one. Whereas you go to some camps and it's obvious
Everyone's
those are all
identical,
from
yeah.
Mike Cohen's gym, or those are all, we were on our own technically. And when we got out to the OTC, it was the first time anybody really cared to help me with technique, and it made a big difference, to be honest. Come on, let's go. Rack and stand, jump right up. Go!
If you wear contact lenses and find yourself dreading that annual appointment to renew your prescription, then you're going to love Simple Contacts. It's a great new company that makes this annoying process very, simple. Simple Contacts lets you renew your expired contact lens prescription and reorder your brand of lenses from your phone or computer in minutes. Simple Contacts brings the doctor's office to wherever you are, whenever you need it. You can take the Simple Contacts vision test online in 5 minutes. A real doctor reviews it and renews your prescription. You save time, save money, and save yourself a headache. If you have an unexpired prescription, just upload a photo of it or your doctor's info and order your lenses in minutes for a great price. They do all the hard work for you. This is vision care for the 21st century. Simple Contact offers every brand of lenses and their prices are unbeatable. The vision test is just $20. Compare that with an annual appointment, which can be up to $250 without insurance. They have some of the best prices on contacts and shipping is free. Best of all, our listeners get $30 off their first Simple Contacts order. To save $30 on your lenses, just go to simplecontacts.com/juglife or enter the code JUGLIFE at checkout. I want to mention that this isn't a replacement for your periodic full eye Health exam, you still need those occasionally, but this is the most convenient way to renew a prescription or reorder your contacts if your vision hasn't changed. Again, check out Simple Contacts and get $30 off by going to simplecontacts.com/juglife or just enter code JUGLIFE at checkout. Give it a try and thank me later.
Not uncommon to have homeless people
Oh,
hanging out right here. I've chased a few one day. There was some heavy pungent odor rolling through the door, and I came out here and there's like a homeless man with the hugest bag of ganja I've ever seen. Like, you can't afford rent, but you can afford this like bag of California's finest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So as you shifted to the OTC and started training with Dragomir, and obviously the program was much different besides actually having technique.
Completely different. We went from, what you would call a like Bulgarian Greek golf program to a very Russian, Romanian kind of way more volume, a lot of assistance exercises, which I did almost none of at the time, so it was a big change. And I see value in both of those. But yeah, we had it was a big shift for me. I'll never forget the first day I walked into the very first morning workout at the Olympic Training Center, and Tommy Goff, my coach's son, was already there. He was already making progress, but he was sort of like when you have a big brother in the high school and you're a freshman, you don't get picked on as much, right? So I rolled into the gym and I was getting ready to do my first heavy back squat workout, and I was wrapping my knees really tight, and I looked up and everybody was staring at me, and Tom gave me a very subtle shake of the head. Nope, we don't do that, because nobody at the training center wrapped their knees, wrapped their wrists, used straps. Come on, aggressive, keep it close. Let's go, rack and stand. Go! Cut. So yeah, they did things a lot differently there, and that was my intro, was the don't wrap your knees in front of the coach, and
What was the biggest difference? I mean, I kind of know, like,
massive amounts of volume. Sorry for interrupting you. Dragomir's whole system was a math equation.
right.
At the end of the week, you knew how many reps you did above 75% and at what intensity and in what lifts. It was broken down lift by lift by lift, and what the projection was, what you were expected to do, and how these reps would add up to success in competition.
Right. You did pretty well there. What was your total going in versus finishing?
I showed up there with a 287 total as a junior. I was invited out there with a 287 total, and I think after a year and a half, I did a 350 total.
Wow.
And yes, maybe that was 2 years. I don't remember the timeline of it, but I came from a background myself on a personal level where I was barely eating. I didn't sleep that much at night. The home life wasn't ideal. So going to a place where I had sports medicine and food and constant care, literally designed to make me a better athlete, it made me a much better athlete. Nobody going into that would have looked at me and said, this kid's setting the world on fire, but it took a few hot meals and a bed for me to really excel out there.
So, as an athlete, you had these two very distinct kind of experiences and exposures to very different styles of training. Now, as a coach, running the gym here, how have you sort of, merged those two, or what are you taking from each style?
I use both styles. It's dependent upon the athlete. Some athletes have the physical constitution to do a more Bulgarian style system, which tends to take a bigger toll, in my opinion, physically and emotionally. And some athletes are better suited for that. But mostly we do the more Russian style. Here we go. Keep it close. Go, go, go! All right. Back down. Okay. Most of what we do here is a kind of a hybrid version of both of those, where the preparation phase or strength phase, or whatever everybody calls it out on the internet, is spent doing a ton of volume and pushing the squats and all the assistance exercises, and I'm still using new stuff that's coming in that people are bringing out now. You know, CrossFit has brought a lot of new information, but it's basically the same big broad brush strokes. I use the Russian Romanian system that Dragomir taught me, and then leading into a competition we changed gears and focus on a Bulgarian program where we do a lot less squatting and pulling and a lot more lifting.
I think that's kind of where a lot of people lose sight of what the Bulgarian system is like it's just peaking. It's the end part of the training, and for those guys it was the end part of the training because everything had been built for years towards this. Like it's a peaking program. It's great.
I agree, and I think that a big misconception about the Bulgarian program and what you to your point is that everybody assumes that what they see when they see the videos and the footage and the training manuals is that that's how they've been training their whole life. In order to show up in front of Abijayev, you would have done 1 million back squats, 1 million pulls, and 1 million push presses in your life. And then you're refined enough and you're at a level enough where you can take that kind of work. This is a long game. Weightlifting, you don't just show up and start training Bulgarian or you will have a short career. That's it.
So what do you think, like your approach psychologically with people versus in terms of competition and how you approach treating athletes? I mean, do you find that you use a lot of the stuff that Goff did, or you sort of take a lot of that stuff from Dragomir?
I would say both. The Goff stuff serves me best on competition day. He's a real motivator, and getting to know each athlete individually and what makes them tick and what motivates them is really, the crux of the coach-athlete relationship. Day to day in here, my paradigm has changed. I don't coach like either of my coaches did, because every athlete that was in front of Steve Goff or in front of Dragomir was there willfully because they wanted to be part of a bigger
your
thing.
Athletes in here.
Yeah, this is a hostage situation. No, but what I mean is like this is not everybody in here is trying to make the Olympic team. Not everybody in here wants to even compete in weightlifting. So I don't coach them like that. I coach them. Many of them use weightlifting for health and well-being or general strength. The percentage of lifters that are as obsessed as I was is small.
And both of you guys know that it's not for health or well-being.
No.
Yeah,
very much so.
There is two different kinds of weightlifters in America, and that's the ones that do it for fun and community and fitness and health, which, believe me, you can get a great workout doing clean and jerks and snatches and squats as much as you can on a bike or a treadmill. And then there's the ones that can't sleep at night because they think about their numbers and the food that they're going to eat and the amount of sleep and the care that they're going to get, because everything literally revolves around extra kilos. And you and I live that life, and that's not how the bulk of my clientele in here trains. So I don't yell at people. There was some physical abuse in my youth.
I remember.
Our coach, many of my coaches, it was a different time. There was no cameras around, and it was a lot less litigious. So
Did you just say hashtag safe sport before?
Yeah. So things were different. I definitely. And then the other big major difference is that weightlifting is a women's sport in America right now. It's mostly women lifting. Look in this room right now. It's mostly women here. There's a few men and they're just as motivated, but you coach women differently than you coach men.
How so?
There's a lot women come in here and it seems like they know what they want to do and they're here for the reasons that they say they're here for. A lot of the men have some kind of...
They're here for the women.
Yeah, for the women, or there's some ego trapped in what they're doing, or they're not lifting weights for the... It's a lot easier to coach women without shaming them or like bullying them into trying a heavier attempt or pitting them against each other, which is what tends to happen a lot more with the men that I coach.
Right, yeah.
In addition to your role as coach or athlete coach, now for the last 3-4 years you've been on the board member at USAW.
Yep, about 4 years I think.
And in that 4 years, I mean, of all 4-year periods in the history of USAW, the last 4 years has probably been the biggest change.
The most profound changes have come, and the most positive and successful changes have come in mostly because of my involvement in the board. No, I'm definitely a part of that, but we have a great leader right now. The office at the Olympic it's not the Olympic Training Center anymore, but out in Colorado Springs is better and more effective than it's ever been. I'm really quite proud of the changes that we've made. So yeah, the last 4 years have been pretty productive. The first year, I'd say, was spent kind of treading water, kind of undo a lot of the damage that had been done by previous administrations. Not to say that they hadn't done wonderful jobs, but
not to say that they had done.
Well, also the scope and spectrum of weightlifting has changed so much in that decade, where they were still working on the past. They were working on the things that were normal for weightlifting before CrossFit and before the internet, which has changed things drastically. Here we go. Let's go. Easy.
A ton of positive changes in there. And yeah, big changes. It's the sport of weightlifting as a whole is changing internationally, and I think the direction of these last couple of years. So insights, we were talking kind of before we started about new information about the qualifying process. Can you elaborate on that for us?
So, unlike in the past, where it's been the athlete was selected based on their country's selection process, it's now been centralized to the IWF, and it goes with the athlete. As long as the athlete is a member of an IWF member federation, they can score points at these events. So there's
nice job.
The new there'll be eight athletes per country, with 4 per gender. That's it, maximum. Any country, no matter what they score at the World Championship. So there's no more team scoring. Is not going to place you on the Olympic team anymore. There's no more water bearers, meaning one person could be responsible for the whole team.
So how does that change, being that there's now, it's an individual qualification, right? So how does that change with head coaching and team selection in the United States?
Head coaching is still going to fall on the responsibility of our national team coach, who, in theory, because of our new decentralized system, should be in direct contact with the personal coaches. And I imagine there's going to be some room for coaching at the international level for personal coaches. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to pan out yet, but if everybody's doing their job, every coach with an athlete on the national team or a potential Olympian should be talking to and communicating with our coaching director and our national, our team basically, which is Mike Catone and Piero Stimas, which is a pretty solid couple of guys. I've personally seen them perform internationally at a few different meets, like right there in the warm-up room, and they're great at what they do.
Does Dimas have any competition experience you know of as an athlete?
He knows his way around a barbell. It's funny because we've seen so many times.
He did the AO too, and he placed 5th.
He placed 5th.
He's pretty good. He's nationally ranked lifter.
I think he's a level 1 coach. So often we see, in particular with international coaches and international superstars, they're great athletes, but they know almost nothing about coaching. Dimas is not one of those guys. He is really effective, and just walking in the back room as an athlete with Dimas at your side, it's pretty, it fires you up.
One thing that I think is funny.
Let's go, Alex. This wide ass grip.
Let's go, Alex.
Easy.
One thing that I think is funny that you probably can relate to, having worked with like Dragomir, and I think this is one of the biggest failures we've had with bringing other foreign people in, is that it's not that they don't understand weightlifting or don't understand coaching or science or can't adapt. It's that they don't grasp the culture. So like Abajev was monumental failure here, in the global perspective, because he didn't understand the culture. And a lot of those guys have come in and they didn't grasp the culture, the difference of what are American athletes like, what are American kids like, and so it's like a struggle. I think maybe even Smaltzer's probably to some degree had something like that. Dragomir did. They adapt, they change as time goes on, but Demos is the first guy I've seen come in that seems like he really understood it all before he got here. Like his kids go to school here, like he gets it. So I think that probably contributes a lot to his ability to communicate, you know, like.
I agree, and he definitely came in and had a really easy segue. He's about our age too. He's a younger guy, so a lot of the subtleties of our culture weren't wasted on him.
Yeah.
But we definitely ran into a lot of trouble with that. You know, I think you were there. Yeah, good work. That first time we flew Dimas out, and we accidentally ended up at dinner with him one night.
That was a memorable dinner.
It was an amazing
Goff
dinner.
was there,
Was he wearing his Max's gym shirt?
We gave him a Max's gym shirt there, but I believe our former coach at some point called him fat.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Goff said, "What's going on? You put on a few kilos, you know."
The next day, wasn't he, Dimas in the gym?
He was working out the next day.
Oh.
Goff got in Dimas's head. He channeled Yakubu. But I'll never forget what he said to us that night. Goff said something, or one of you guys asked him a question about, well, what about those athletes in America that have to work a full-time job and still come in and train? And he very matter-of-factly looked at us and said, well, they can expect to not be that good.
Yeah.
And that's the culture that's kind of lost a lot is like you want to be a weightlifter, you have to lift weights exclusively.
Yeah.
And now we've finally created a situation where many of our athletes that are top tier athletes are actually paid athletes. They're getting a stipend that allows them to live a lifestyle where they can go get a massage 3 times a week, see a chiropractor, get the kind of health care they need, rest, sleep, not go work a 9 to 5 job. And then it shows. We have some standout athletes that can compare to anybody on the planet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's it.
With a completely different system. Nobody backing them. No.
That's a big one. Yeah, it seems like the culture of training has changed a lot in that, like, before it was like we were all focused on training 40 times a week and like, oh, we got to do exactly what the Bulgarians do or the Russians. And now it's shifted more to where people are finding success in, you know, their own created versions of training programs.
Yeah, that's a lot thanks to CrossFit, I think. Easy.
I like that belt. Oh, the old Juggernaut belt.
We made her put a sticker over it.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
It's kind of neat to see, like, I want to say, like, almost like American ingenuity in that, like, we're creating our own thing now.
Well, that's something that, you know, before weightlifting was such a grassroots underground sport in America, and now it's become so mainstream that the information is just pouring in.
Good. Yeah. So people kind of, you know, like, you get people that create their own stuff. It's not like we don't learn from what's been done, but the sort of copy paste thing doesn't exist as much anymore, which is
you got to try pretty
cool,
hard to not make progress. Like if you show up and you lift weights on a decent program with a decent coach, you should make progress. You know.
Oh, that leave it there. Do you still train?
Yeah, but
Get your
Can
body
you
getting
snatch
better?
Max right now?
No. Gun to head, like your life, your children's life depended on it. I could probably snatch 90 to 100 kilos, and then like be in the like
grave.
ER, PR or ER.
PR then ER.
There's a lot of pain associated with those kind of
I
lifts.
was watching you, just laughing and cringing at the same time.
Just
like what
hurting.
is this guy doing?
Yeah.
I thought it was some old TBT, you know, some
No,
Throwback
you know,
Thursday.
You get people.
Let's go.
Good.
Yeah, I feel really good. I feel like I'm actually doing it right overall more so than being wrong every time. I feel it's kind of consistent.
It's getting better, yeah.
Yeah,
It's getting a lot
it's not
better.
so not consistent.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You know, 1 kilo more.
Come on, get tough now.
Go, Alex.
Go!
So, what is your thought on, sort of the future of USA lifting internationally now that you've had a ton of exposure to competing internationally as a junior, coaching, seeing the change from the way things were to the way things are now, and then the future of with the doping and all this, and what is your kind of outlook on the future, predictions, or at least
There was a time when I was so just awe-stricken by the foreign lifters and the numbers that they put up, and then we would have Americans that would be coming close, and everybody would say, oh, if we had the talent that the NFL has or the NBA has, and all these all this anecdotal stuff about athleticism, and then all of a sudden we're in a place where we actually are excelling. We have people on the podium at world events, people beating historically dirty countries, and weightlifting has become mainstream enough that we are getting some top level athletes, so the future looks bright for American weightlifting right now. Like I said, the women's weightlifting in America is exploding. It's bigger than ever, and it seems to be growing, and the records keep getting broken. On the men's side, and then we have world record holders now, like legit world record holders, beating Chinese and Russian and Kazakh lifters, in the most rigorous testing environment there is. The USA leads the world in testing. So the future looks great right now. We have great leadership with Phil Andrews and Mike Catone and the crew out there in Colorado. I think big things are coming. We keep getting people in the top 5, top 10. Our women's program is on fire. See, there's a good one right there. That looks great.
Very cool. Yeah.
Jasha, where can people follow you on social media?
Marin Heavy Athletics is my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook handle. My personal page, Jasha Faye, Strong Like Bull 73. But Marin Heavy Athletics, that's the name of my gym, it's the name of my program.
Cool, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming out, you guys. This is fun. I was going to say,
feel free to tell us some stories.
The mic's on, man.
Culturally, the big cultural change, I got a great story when Dragomir first came to the Olympic Training Center. He said, okay, gentlemen, today we will sauna. And we all piled into the sauna, and Dragomir rolled in about 5 minutes later, and he was completely nude. And
this is the hashtag Safe Sport.
Yeah, and he quietly looked around the room, saw that every one of us had a pair of shorts on, and backed out of the sauna quietly and came back with a towel a minute later after. Just culturally a little different.
All right, so that was our episode with Jasha Faye. Thank you very much to him hosting us here at his gym, Marin Heavy Athletics, in Marin County, California, just north of San Francisco. And make sure you go follow him on social media and on his spots. As always, if you're interested in online coaching, visit juggernautcoaching.com. We have powerlifting, weightlifting, strongman, super total, and power building. Check that stuff out. And if you enjoy the Jug Life podcast, go on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. We always appreciate that, and it helps more people find us. And subscribe to YouTube, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you next week.